And on the other hand, on the personal side, it was like I met this woman and they come to me and we had sex, but I didn't had that positive impact that I can talk with them about my goals in life when it comes to business, or they had any positive impact on this project.
Yeah.
And therefore I felt I also want was a woman in my life they support that.
Yeah.
And not just be there and we have a good time.
So what was the good thing about the relationship you had with this girl?
I think sex was not bad, but and yeah, we can talk about some deeper topics, but it was not that I thought I have to keep on going with that. So it was not real a relationship. It was more like we're meeting and having
like
a good time.
When I'm talking about relationship, I'm not necessarily talking about monogamous relationships. For me, like the interaction with every person, it's a relationship.
Ah, okay.
So when you have with her, you have something going on, even if it's just a friendship, it's also a relationship for me.
Okay.
So when I'm using the term relationship, it's whatever you have between you two. And when I understand it right, so you had this girl and it was kind of cool with her.
Yeah.
So you had a good time, you had good sex, but you had this feeling there's something missing. Like you need, or you're looking currently for a girl that is clearly supportive of your current lifestyle and your life goals. And you can talk with her about them and she will go, okay, that's a cool thing, I will walk with you along the way.
Yeah, kind of. It must not only be that she always supporting this, it also can be that she has different goals or
similar goals?
Similar goals than me.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, but it must be a positive impact for me, and I always connect that to guy friends or guy relationships when we talk about relationships, and therefore this kind of people which I drag in my life are people who have same or similar directions than me, and I feel the positive impact. I feel the availability of all people, and I want this kind of thing same for women, and I think it's also very important. I think most of the guys just going for sex or going for good looking girls and always
you're going for more, like
I want more from that, and I think that should be also the goal long term, because it will not fulfill you
at all
at all when you just have sex with beautiful girls. So
for me the same thing, like there's a lot of beautiful girls where they just don't have this kind of personality. Like I have a similar situation with one girl that, like, she's very, very beautiful and a lot of guys like her and a lot of guys are chasing her as well. So I thought I have to get her. I really have to get her, like I have to seduce her, I have to do the whole, collect all my knowledge about seduction and put it onto her, so I finally get her. But after some time I realized it was more like I was chasing a trophy. It was not like I was really interested in this one girl. It was more like, okay, everybody wants her and everybody's chasing her and I want to be the one who gets her. But basically I was not interested here because, like, for friendship, yes, but I wasn't interested here sexually or like emotionally to get involved with her. It was just to feed my ego so that then I can be the guy who says like, yes, and I got her, so see, she's my trophy, I can put her on my wall, be proud of it.
Yeah.
show it to my grandchildren at one point. And I was very happy that I actually realized what was going on inside myself, because that's just not a healthy way to look at girls or to look at women or to look at life in general, in my opinion. Because it's basically you're not chasing what you want, you're not true to yourself, you're not true to your path, to your personality, you're much more following something society tells you should follow, or people tell you should follow. Not because it's what you want, but everybody wants it, so you have to do it as well. And that was an interesting lesson for me to this whole process of realization and actually saying, nope, stop it, it's not healthy. A very interesting point you mentioned earlier is the people that you spend your time with, that they kind of shape your reality, or they shape your universe. So I think for me I realize totally the same. Like the people you spend your time with, they always have certain way of viewing life, a certain way of, no matter what point it is. Like, for example, there's one guy who's focused on a career. There's one guy who is focused like on seducing women. There's one guy who is focused on like having fun or going out to party or whatever. And from every person you spend time with, you can like kind of take those positive traits, and they shape you. You are basically always the average of the people you spend your time with. And when it's just negative people, and when they all the day they go like, no, this is shit, and this is annoying, and this is sucks, and the weather is shit, and women are evil and complicated, you will never understand them. All these limiting beliefs they have inside themselves, you, even if you disagree, but when you spend a lot of time with those people, they kind of take your toll on you. They shape on you, on your way of thinking.
Can I add something here?
Yes, of course.
Because you reminded me of an issue here, because I thought the same, that I have to find my place or my peer group, where the people are which fit to my purpose or to my direction. But I realized that I had this kind of follower approach or mindset. So I have to find them. They are somewhere out there, and I have to find them. But it worked for me better to get more into the leader role. I don't wait to find them, but I go forward and invite people to this lifestyle. And some join and some dismiss it. So because when I just was waiting, where are the humorous or where are the pickup dudes, it was too passive. When I got more into this active leader role, so I'm gonna create that. I'm gonna push forward alone. There's nobody here supporting me, but I press on alone, and I'm gonna trust that the people will follow. So I take this responsibility, I take this leading role, because I have many issues or topics that are not that conservative. They're more like out there, like vegan diet or this pickup stuff or some spiritual stuff. It's pretty alternative, so it's hard to, or it's pretty long time to wait until these people show up. So you have to be more proactive and generate that and trust that the people will follow that and open up to this direction you are heading.
That's actually a very interesting point. That's also a problem where I sometimes struggle, but happily realize it, and then I say stop to myself, that I'm also looking for other people, like where I can clinch on, like looking for this one person who is like, oh yes, and when I meet this one cool pickup guru guy in my life, then I can finally learn from the best, you know. Also in other things, like I had one friend who was became very close to me. Like after my last breakup, he like was there for me and supported me, and we had good conversations, and it helped me a lot to get over the whole thing. And suddenly, like he was very busy, and he didn't have any time like to meet. But I was like still in this mind, oh, we are so super close friends, and I want to spend time with him because it's a cool time. And then I started like saying things similar, like to chase him, some kind of, and like to text him, call him, hey dude, do you have time for another meeting? And he
Yeah,
always
yeah.
says, yes, but not this week, maybe next week.
Yeah.
And he probably was just busy with his own stuff, you know.
Mm.
But after some point, I realized, why am I doing this? There are so much cool people. There are so much intelligent, so many intelligent people and funny people and to good friends, you know. And when somebody is a good friend to you, there shouldn't be one part who's chasing the other one, like for a meeting or for a meetup. And then I started to do the same thing. Like I said, all right, let's just cut any effort. Let's just cut the contact. Like my phone is always open for people ringing me up, and maybe you know it suits, and then we can meet again. But I started with the same mindset. I don't want to chase people into my life. I'm just doing my thing, and everybody is invited to join me on the journey. Everybody can be a part of it, of this positive, enlightened, spiritual growth, you know, that life is about. And when people can't appreciate it,
Fuck off.
yeah, like I think that's basically what happens, you know, when you're a cool guy, open-minded guy, positive vibes, and people still give you shit, or they just dump you or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They just can't appreciate you as a person. And why do I want to spend time with people who can't appreciate who I am?
Yeah.
And a funny thing that happens is that when you start to take this leadership, as you told, people will come to you. People will want to spend time with you.
Most are waiting for someone to step up.
Yeah.
Exactly in this pickup community, there are so many guys who like finally someone is doing the shit and I can follow him. I can be part of it.
Yeah.
Because they have so many friends who are not doing that. Family, the society is not like, don't do this pickup thing, it's bad. So they are really glad that somebody is stepping up and be like, hey, I'm here, I'm standing in front of a camera and I'm doing this. So many really appreciate that. And I'm glad that somebody is leading.
Yeah. Like in my experience, the only time when somebody does not appreciate something like this, even if like pickup is a good example, but also like, I don't know, spirituality, meditation, vegan diets, everything pretty much. The only time when people can't appreciate it is when they can't understand it. When they don't know what this is all about, and when it somehow doesn't fit in their concept of reality. Because they have the structure of reality, of seeing the world, viewing the world, and when something comes that just doesn't fit with the current worldview, you just go, oh no, this is evil, go away, you're an evil person for doing this. And I personally don't want to hang out with people who are this narrow-minded.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. And there's so much open-minded people where with just an open mind, and you see it usually in the first few conversation moments when you talk about some topics. They're not usual, like not small talk or something. And then you usually realize pretty fast, okay, is this a person that can handle things outside their reality? Are they open to expand their reality, to expand their way of viewing the world, the universe? Or are they just in their own box and they are happy with the box and they like to stay in the box?
Yeah.
You know? Okay, stay in your box, I will go my fucking way of freedom.
I really can resonate with what you both talked about, especially when I moved my direction from being a software engineer to this fitness trainer and stuff like that. And at the beginning it was very difficult because I quit my job, and after that I had a breakup with my past ex-girlfriend, and it was so much new things, and I have to sort me back up again and shift my goals and my directions.
Yeah.
But when I had my direction and followed this direction, so many people came in my life, and so I got known so many positive people who have similar directions, and so many doors opened, which I never thought about that they are even there.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of with the energy which you put out into
Yeah.
the world. And
Yeah.
if you say, hey, I have this passion and I want to follow that, and that's my way, and want to influence as much people as possible,
Mm,
they come from.
yeah. They're coming.
They're coming, yeah.
They will come. I think that's a very masculine way of viewing the world. Like it has somehow it's like a metaphor for like sex. You know, the way that you like penetrate the world, it gives you something back.
Yeah.
So for me, this is really one of the most important masculine traits. When you're a man, when you want to live your masculinity, you have to be ready and prepared and willing to penetrate the world with your energy, with your worldview, with your like belief systems, and whatever you want to create or whatever you want to think or feel. You penetrate the world with it, and the world gives you back. Like what goes around comes around. I think also like the minds and the energy, as you said, kind of works like a magnet.
Yeah.
Like what you send out, those things will come into your life. They will appear, and you just attract those things.
But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, of course.
It's not just that you're attracting stuff, you're also
Yeah.
creating enemies, you're creating
Yeah.
spikes or tension. Because
Yeah.
you are polarized, you have a big energy,
Yeah.
and people will shoot back. So when I shifted my energy and be more leading and more masculine, I created enemies. Not like real enemies who
Yeah.
want to kill me, but I really had some...
Sniper rifle.
no, but I really had some fight, not real body fights, but verbal fights with people
Yeah.
because they didn't appreciate my worldview, my
Yeah.
my behaviors, etc. So I really like fights. People didn't like me. They say to my face, Kevin,
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yes.
You are not that man or that person I want to be around with.
Yeah.
And you have to stand there as a man and face this, not like
And say,
shit.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
then.
it's hard, man.
There's the door.
Because I'm
Yeah.
I'm not this tough motherfucker. It was a hard
Yeah.
situation. It's not like easy when a person you are
Yeah.
next. He's a close friend maybe
Yeah.
of you, and he says to your
Yeah.
face, Kevin, I don't like how you are developing right
Yeah.
now. And you
Yeah.
stand there and be like, okay, so we have to part ways.
It's,
And
it's the same.
It's hard.
As you said before, with this, that people living in their box, and when you really want something in life and achieve your dreams, you have to move outside this box and go to a different direction, as
Yeah.
the society says. And when you go this direction, there's a lot of bullshit which coming over you. Not every time positive thing, there's also a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think you also have to go through that and be aware that this bullshit is okay.
Yeah.
And I always have this metaphor or metaphor, I don't know.
Metaphor.
Like the world is a ocean, and like an ocean of bullshit, and you have to be this.
You have
This,
to be
this-
Moses.
This light
Like-
storm in this ocean of bullshit, and
Okay.
always be positive and give love to people. And I think that's also a very important part as a man, which you
Yeah.
have to learn. It's not about getting the 9s and 10s and
Yeah.
chasing women and make them chase to you. It's learn to give love. Still
Yeah.
give love when also people give you shit.
That's actually
Yeah.
a very beautiful thing you said there, yeah. In the end, it's no matter what you want to project out there, as long if the base of it is love, you approach the world from a basis of I want to spread love everywhere, inside myself, inside other people. First thing that happens is you receive love back. That's my realization. But also it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because it's just a beautiful thing, and you can never really be on the wrong way in your life when it's like a way out of love. No matter if you're like a fitness coach or a pickup coach or like working somewhere doing whatever, working in a bank, You can do this when it's like when you're moving into the world from a point of love, you're on the right path. There's not much
Path of love.
path of love.
Yeah, I think that's the thing which we're born with. As
Yeah.
when you get born, there's only love inside you, and then there comes the society and conditions and your parents and so much
Yeah.
not love things come into you, and you get
You
so
have-
conditioned,
yeah.
and it's very hard to step outside of that and of your ego and say,
Yeah. It's very
No,
hard
I'm
to
not-
stay on this path.
yeah.
Yeah. Like to focus also on the positive things. And I realize it because a lot of people actually seem to me to be very negative or like to focus on the negative things. And also like society is kind of forming us into this negative thinking beings, because when you watch the news they tell you what's shit, where's the war, who's stolen something, who died. You know, there's not much positive things in like media in general, and like what we are like what we get into our lives day by day. And this kind of it's hard to stay on the positive side. It's so much easier to say, yo, this is shit and this is shit and this is shit, and you can blame everything and everyone for the things that go wrong in your life. So when something goes wrong, it's so easy to say, nah, I failed this test because the teacher was an asshole and it was the wrong questions. And like
every time the other one is it.
yes. And with this worldview, you tend to externalize all the faults in your life, and you just throw away the responsibility. You give everything and everyone, the teacher, the weather, everything. You give them the power to, choose for your life, to shape your life, to shape what's going wrong and right in your life. And it's one of the most important things to like just step back and say, no, bullshit, it's my fault. I take the responsibility for my own life. And this also, when you're thinking like this, you can make it into a positive thing. That's the cool thing about it. And life is positive, society is positive. Like nowadays we have so little wars like never before on the whole earth. There's so much health, hospitals, medical treatment for people around the world like never before, you know, in whole history of life. There's so much children going to school on the whole planet like never before in whole history. So we live in very positive times. And the positive overwhelms all the time. If the positive would not overwhelm, then everything would be destroyed, you know? But things keep growing, things keep building, like their cities are growing, like trees are growing, parks are growing, everything. You know, it means the positive must be more than the negative. Otherwise it would be destroyed and it's finished. You understand my point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
That's beautiful said.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I like that.
I never thought about this before, like this view that everything is moving positive.
It
I
is
also
actually.
saw the world kind of a little bit negative, the movement which is going on
Yeah.
nowadays. But
But why do you think
It's-
that? Do we think like this? Me the same. Like sometimes
Yeah.
I have days where I think like, oh my god, there's like terror thing. There's like
Yeah.
these people are shooting in their heads, and
that's always this negative frame which comes from the outside and want to drag our movement or our direction down.
yeah,
I think most of the time.
yeah,
I also I'm not always positive and
Yeah.
everything is good and stuff like that. I also have these
Yeah.
days where I think, wow, shit, fuck that and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But
And to be honest, I think it's very important because life is not only positive.
no,
Like there is negative shit happening, and when you always go like, oh no, it's still positive. There's still like, okay, I don't know, you know, somebody got cancer in the family. Like, oh no, there's a message behind it from the universe. It's all positive. That's like,
100k debt on my bank account. It's positive. Everything is
yeah,
good.
man, it's cool. Now I
Yeah,
have to
nice.
work finally. So
I have to do something about that. I have to hustle really hard.
Finally, I'm motivated.
yeah,
Yes,
life
that's
is
big
so
motivation.
beautiful.
Yeah.
No, that's like you definitely have to be able to handle the negative shit
Yeah.
that happens. Like me, for example, when I was traveling the world, I had like for 7 months, I had 2 occasions where I nearly died. so out of a poisoning. And like the second time I was in Laos, and there's like no way I could have survived the poisoning because there is no hospitals, there is no ambulance, there is nothing. So that was really a very close to death situation for me. And in this situation, I really got confronted with my inner demons, and I was like really the lowest where you can get, like with like mindset, with everything pretty much. It was a very deep point in my life, but still like overcoming this point, for me, like those moments where I was deep down the most, they shaped my personality as I am now the most ever. Like much more like those times where everything went well, everything was fine, cool friends, cool people, cool spirits.
Because then there's no change.
Yeah.
I think it's really the breakups and the tough times which shape you and making you a better person or make you grow in a kind of way.
Yeah, I think the same. And also, like when you look at it as on an emotional line, I think for you to be able to enjoy those positive spikes and moments you need to also experience the negative sides and the negative spikes. Otherwise, you don't see the difference. You don't can appreciate the positive thing when there's no negative thing. There's just positive and less positive. So it's just you're moving in these emotional phases.
Yeah.
But when you're down deep, you move in between here, and it's like much more intense, and you can appreciate it much more. A friend of mine, she is a very dog-loving person. She told me this example of comparing stray dogs, like street dogs, with like ordinary dogs. They're like always in a good house, like those Chihuahua kind of things, you know. They always go lap, 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 lap. And why do they do that? Because they never been on the fucking streets, you know. Yeah, seriously.
Dog weren't on the street.
No, on the ghettos.
They have
But-
street credibility.
Because she has a dog from the street, and it's the most calm dog you will ever see in your whole life. Like so, like always, never barking except when he sees a squirrel, but otherwise never barking, never making stress. And that's because he experienced stress in his life. He was on the streets, not having food, not having shelter, everything, and now he's in a good home with a good shelter, with good food, and he can appreciate it. And he barks at no one because that's not danger. The only reason why those dogs in the houses bark all the time is because they never seen real danger. So they think when they see the postman, oh, that's the greatest danger I've ever seen in my life, and I have to kill him. But that's bullshit.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's like a good metaphor for ourselves. We are all dogs. Yeah.
But I think it's when we talk about that this positive and you also talk about negative emotions.
Yeah.
Because you have also feel that I think that's when we come back to pickup and stuff like that and getting better with women.
Yeah.
I think most of the time we want to do everything right.
Yeah.
And get no rejection and don't say the wrong things because the woman doesn't like us anymore or yada yada yada. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's the way which you hurt you most of the time the most, and you're not you because you're always in your bubble and just doing things which you believe that is good and never force the things which you really want. When you, for example, sitting with a girl on a date and you're having a good time with her and you're feeling, oh, I have to kiss her, but I don't know if she rejects me, it's bad for me, and oh, my ego will hurt and stuff like that. And then you didn't do it, and it will hurt you much more against that you just kissed or try to kiss her
And fail.
Maybe. Because fail, it's always connected in our society to negativity. But failing is pure positive.
Yeah.
Because when you not fail, you will never get better.
Yeah, yeah. I think the same. Like one sentence struck me when I was doing kung fu. Like the teacher at one point said, like the biggest master of kung fu is the one who failed the most in his whole kung fu career. And so much people are afraid of failing because they think because they take it so personally.
Yeah.
They think no, it's not that I failed, like you say, okay, I failed, or this was a failure. They really feel they as a person failed, and they are failure as a person.
Yeah.
Because this one thing just didn't work out this way. But it's just totally not like this. You have to fail, otherwise how should you grow? How should you should you learn? You learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from like the one time where you did it right.
Yeah.
No, you learn from the 10 times where you didn't do it right, and you never make this mistake again, or maybe twice, but definitely not the third time. And that's a very beautiful point you make here. Because the greatest master is the one who failed the most. He failed more than every fucking student, you know?
That's I think that's the problem with especially social media and stuff like that nowadays. We always see people who
Succeeding.
who we think are succeeding, and they have the cars, the girls.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you want a life, but we don't see which the path which they're going through, the failing which they had. Like, I don't know, for example, Steve Jobs or any other succeeded
Steve
person.
Jobs is a good example, actually.
They failed so fucking
fucking hard, yeah.
They tried so many things, and then someday it works. But before there were so many fails, but we don't see that. We just see the
beautiful things.
The 80 billions euros on his bank account, and the company,
you
and
see
everything
the Ferrari,
is good.
you
It
see
was
the beautiful
just
girls.
luck, and I don't have to luck, and you know.
Yeah, that's true. Like social media, especially Instagram, I think is a good example. You see all these beautiful women, you see all these beautiful people with their, like, I don't know, posing on the pool on the fucking skyscraper in Dubai, you know. And you only see this, but you never see the path they went, the stories they have to tell. Like the several times they hit rock bottom, and where they just thought they can't go anywhere, you know. And I read a book. It was something with enlightenment. I can't remember. I think it was Fuck It. I think the title was Fuck It. And it was about this anti-spiritual movement which is totally spiritual. Actually, kind of an interesting concept. But there, he also described, he had his enlightenment in this moment where he was like on the fucking rock bottom. Where he was like thrown out of his flat, didn't have anywhere to stay. He just had like this how you say, Wohnwagen, trailer.
Trailer.
This trailer, yeah, where he like kind of lived. This shit also got destroyed, and he was like, either now going to kill myself or not. And if I'm not killing myself, I have to do something, you know. This was the moment where he was really like so close to kill himself. But then he said that then this was the very moment where it just hit him, where he just seen it all, you know. He just understood, suddenly he understood life, he understood what it's all about. And that's not so bad, you know. This is basically the worst thing that can happen to you. And is it so bad? No, you can still survive, you can still continue to do stuff. And then you learn to appreciate the other things as well much more. And this point I heard several times now already. Also Eckhart Tolle, maybe you heard about him. He had the power of now and shit. And all those very, very successful people had their very moment of enlightenment, if you want to call it, in those moments.
They were down.
Where it was down, where it was like shit. But you don't see this. You only see the fruits.
Yeah.
You don't see the positive things. Yeah. Cool point. Yeah, Steve Jobs is a very good example for this. Because he really was like, I don't know, I've read his biography, like not totally, but like some key points I remember, and it was like crazy shit he went through, like going to India, always tripping on LSD, like he got thrown out of his company so hard, like he made this company basically, then he got thrown out of his own company, and years later they were so desperate that they asked him in again, and then the whole success started. So that's really interesting.
To make maybe a turn back to the main topic, with the failure is important to embrace, especially in this context of making friends or making new friends. You're gonna fail a lot. It's not like so I'm gonna make new friends who are more aligned to my path and it's gonna work fine. You're gonna make so many mistakes. You think this person is really good for you, and then suddenly he steps you in the back. Or this girl, we have so good connection, but 2 weeks later, it's fucked up. So you have to embrace it too, that you with other persons socially will make many mistakes. It's part of this journey. So not like, okay, I don't decide now to enrich my life with positive persons, and now we're gonna work it out. No, it's not that easy.
No, it's not that. And also, like, what I kind of tend to forget is that nobody is perfect.
Oh yes.
Sometimes I get so harsh on people, on friends, on women, on everybody. Like, they make one mistake and I go like, ah shit, I thought you're a good person, I thought you're a good man or a good woman. But we mustn't forget that everybody is human and everybody makes mistakes.
But that's the thing. Back to social, everybody wants to try to be perfect.
Stop trying.
That will never work, because then you have so high expectations on yourself and make everything right, no failure.
And then other people as well.
And you're always comparing to others, and I think you have to free yourself from expectations. To you and also to other people.
But you also have to know your boundaries. I think that's very important.
That's true.
Some people, like, there were 2 or maybe almost 3 moments in my life where I really had to cut the personal contact with my best friends. There was 3 different best friends, and I told her they had to say, no, I have to cut this thing. Not because I have so high expectations, but because at some point you have to realize, what are you accepting? Like behavior from other people, what are you accepting? Where is the point where you say, okay, you have these issues, you have this negative behavior, but when is it just too much? That it just influences me too much, it just drags me down. It's like I can't stay on my path, I can't feel good about myself when I'm spending so much time with this person. And when you know your clear boundaries, like what's okay for me, what's not okay for me, then you have to also be ready to just say, nope, I'm sorry, but we're just not gonna hang out together anymore. We can't spend time together anymore. Maybe when we see you in a party occasionally, I will say hi, I will chat with you, but I will not invite you in my home, I will not stay at your place, because it is just negative influence in my life. And I think that's very important. Also with disrespectful behavior, I think there is, in a relationship with men, especially with other men, I think it's important to have a certain level of respect, where you treat yourself with respect. Like, you don't always have to share the same opinion, right? But you have to treat you with respect. For example, in my school time, I was very like this left extremist anarchist guy, like 15, 16. And in my same school, in my class, there was one guy who was like very right-winged and a very neo-Nazi, like beating up people and shit. But we had a good connection still. For being this very, like the most opposite you can ever be, but we treated us with respect still.
Wow.
When we discussed about politics, about this topic, we knew we had different opinions. We said our opinion, but we didn't go like, oh, you're just a fucking retard who can't understand life. You were still like, okay, I respect you as a person, you have a different opinion, I have a different opinion, so it can work together. So it's always, in my experience, always more, what is the person like? Does the other person have a good heart? much more important than what does he think or does she think or feel or perceive in the world. Yeah. So I think it's cool that we started with sometimes you have to cut people from your life, and we ended again with the topic. And in between we were like, woo! But cool, yeah.
Like a roller coaster of emotions.
Like a roller coaster, yeah. Cool. Yeah, thank you guys for this lovely podcast. This is very cool.
No problem.
Very cool, like exchanging experiences. I have the feeling everybody like has his own story, has his own experience, and has so much to share. Now we share it with the world. Awesome. Thanks, guys.